Why do men worship some women while ignoring others? Why do certain women inspire obsession, loyalty, and devotion, while others, often equally beautiful, are treated as replaceable? Here's the uncomfortable truth. Men don't worship beauty alone. They worship value, and high-value women operate by a set of rules most people never dare to touch. Let's begin with a paradox. The women who are most worshipped are often the ones who give the least, not because they are cruel or unkind, but because their presence feels scarce, refined, impossible to fully possess. Men crave what feels beyond reach, and when a woman embodies that aura, she becomes unforgettable. Think of Helen of Troy. Was she the most beautiful woman who ever lived? History may exaggerate, but what is undeniable is this. Kings and warriors launched a war not merely for her face, but for what she represented. She was not common. She was not accessible. She was the living symbol of desire itself. That is why men worshipped her. High-value women understand something most nice girls never learn. Availability breeds indifference. Scarcity breeds obsession. When you are too present, too eager, too willing, men unconsciously lower your worth. But when you withhold, when you discipline your presence, you create demand. Worship is not born from constant access. It is born from distance. Now, let's pull back the curtain on the psychology. Men, at their core, are hunters. When the prize is rare, when the game is challenging, their adrenaline spikes. They lean in. But when the prize is too easy, their instincts tell them it cannot be valuable. A diamond on every street corner would be worth less than glass. The woman who wants worship must learn this rule. Make him earn access, not by manipulation, but by self-respect. But here's where it gets even more powerful. Men don't just worship women because of what they deny. They worship because of what they embody. A high-value woman is not simply scarce. She represents something bigger than herself. She is a mirror that reflects his ambition, his desire, his fear of loss. She is a living symbol of what he cannot control. Take Cleopatra once again. Rome's most powerful men did not bend their knees to her because she begged. They worshipped her because she embodied an empire. Her elegance, her intelligence, her aura of destiny. She became a figure larger than life. High-value women tap into archetypes, the queen, the muse, the enchantress. Men worship symbols, not servants. And here is a cliffhanger to keep you hooked. Worship is not about him. It is about you. The way you carry yourself, the way you train others to respond to you, determines whether you inspire devotion or dismissal. Men simply reflect what you demand in silence. So let's get practical. How does a high-value woman behave in daily life? First, she never over-explains. If a man questions her choices, she doesn't justify herself with endless details. She speaks in absolutes. I don't go there. I don't tolerate that. Her standards are clear, and she doesn't negotiate them. This aura of certainty tells men she is not a girl to debate, she is a woman to follow. Second, she rewards, but selectively. If a man pleases her, she allows warmth. If he fails, she withholds. Never punishment, never rage, simply the absence of approval. This creates a conditioning loop where men crave her smile, her softness, her rare affection. Her love is never cheap, it must be earned. Third, she is detached from outcome. If a man leaves, she does not collapse. She knows her value doesn't diminish when someone fails to recognize it. This calm detachment is magnetic because it signals abundance. She doesn't cling because she knows another will arrive. Worship requires the possibility of loss. If he senses you will stay no matter how he treats you, why should he kneel? Let's deepen the story with an example. Here's another paradox. The more power a woman has over herself, the more power she has over men. Self-mastery is irresistible. When you control your emotions, your time, your reactions, you radiate stability. Men worship what they cannot destabilize. Chaos is ordinary. Control is divine. This is why men don't worship women who beg for validation. They may use them, enjoy them, but they will never devote themselves to them. Worship requires reverence, and reverence requires distance. Think of a temple. You don't casually walk in and touch everything. You lower your voice, you tread lightly, because the space itself demands it. A high-value woman creates that same atmosphere in her presence. Now let me give you a secret strategy. High-value women use silence as a weapon. They don't rush to fill the air. They let men speak, reveal, stumble, and try harder. The pause between her words creates tension, and in that tension, men lean forward, seeking approval. Silence is not emptiness. It is dominance. Another strategy. Rituals of self-respect. Every choice she makes signals her value. From how she dresses, to how she sits, to the tone of her voice, every detail whispers, "I am rare." Men don't worship the sloppy, the careless, the desperate. They worship what appears deliberate, elevated, untouchable. Let's return to history for a moment. The courtesans of Venice were not worshipped simply for their beauty. They were educated, witty, and strategically mysterious. They knew when to speak and when to vanish. They weren't just women, they were institutions. Men worshipped them because they embodied refinement. They were living works of art. Now, modernize this. Imagine a woman today who never posts every detail of her life online. She is selective, private, mysterious. When she does appear, she is flawless, magnetic. Her aura says, "You may admire me, but you may never fully own me." Compare that to the woman who posts everything, responds instantly, and gives unlimited access. Which one triggers worship? Exactly. Here is the truth you must remember. Worship comes from contrast. Men live in a world of instant gratification, constant texts, endless selfies, desperate validation. The woman who withholds, who paces herself, who radiates timelessness, she feels like a luxury item in a world of cheap substitutes, and luxury is always worshipped. Now, let's land this lesson with a final escalation. If you want men to worship you, you must stop chasing equality and attention. Men are not inspired by women who mirror them. They are inspired by women who elevate them. When you hold yourself above the ordinary, when you refine your standards, when you embrace detachment and scarcity, you rise into archetype. You become the queen, the muse, the crown. And here is the punchline. Men don't actually worship women. They worship what women represent. The high-value woman becomes a symbol of status, of desire, of destiny. He kneels not because of her face, but because of what she makes him feel. And that feeling is priceless. So why do men worship high-value women? Because she never lowers herself to demand it. She simply is. Her aura commands it. Her standards enforce it. and her silence seals it. The ordinary woman wants to be liked. The dangerous woman demands to be worshipped, and the world obliges.